welcome back to the channel. We have another speed build here in the desert in Corekeeper. This one's a bit of a late one because I have been moving and we have no internet, and so I've been periodically editing this off and on during my move, but I did do this about a month ago. So yeah, just so you know, this would have been out when I first moved, but unfortunately there was no internet, so I couldn't do that. I was able to get out the Lunar New Year event video because it was really simple, but that was literally the day before I moved, so I was lucky enough to get that out, and unfortunately have had to wait for free data to be able to upload this video. So it's going to be fun when I do that. Probably going to get a message saying, hey, by the way, you've used up your data. But anyways, I decided that I wanted to do a desert build. One, because I'm wanting to do all the biomes, but you know, we've done the ocean one so far, and we did some Santa or some Christmas themed / snow themed builds. So I thought, you know, next best thing is to go onto the desert, and I really like the items that you get in the desert, especially those desert pillars or temple pillars that you can see that I've used there. They're really great dividers, really tall, so they make all the walls look really small, but they're really good to just like put in a corner or section off an area, and you'll see later that I use them for like posters for a bed. So yeah, really good that way. But in this room specifically, I wanted kind of like a not a crafting room per se, but an area where, you know, the character that is living here would be using to upgrade their tools or upgrade their carts, since we do have like 3 different cart options now. So for them to like come in and, let's say, if this was possible, upgrade their carts with the upgrade station, even though it's not possible. But then, you know, what they would actually do is use the cart workbench to make the better cart, which is the red one, I believe, because I don't use carts. I hate driving them in the game. But yeah, when I played with my friends, they loved carts. They loved using them to drive around. I'm more of a boat person. Like, I will, you know, get rid of... sorry, my lava lamp is just frozen. Okay, we'll skip over that. Yeah, I'm more of a, you know, person to dig up the ground and let the water flow so I can use my boat sort of person. But yeah, I really wanted just an area where the character could just come in, put their pets in to get that going, and then also make or work on their carts, and then upgrade their tools as well. And then also put some pedestals down to show off the different things that you can get in the desert, like the Thread of Fate. Oh my god, everyone's favorite. But also the Frozen Flame as well, because that one's one of my favorites. And I did put the potted plant of the plume tree. I really like that one. I didn't want to put the cherry blossom version because it seemed a bit too, I don't know, vibrant. I think the other one seems more dry, like you'd be in a desert, so the plume tree is a bit more drier than the very vibrant and cheerful cherry blossom. So I went with that. And then what I like to do is I usually would take off my lantern, as you would have seen, and I like to see if I can actually see anything in the room with the natural light that I've put in, or the candles or anything like that. I want to make sure that you can actually see something, so that if someone doesn't have that lantern that I have, they can still see comfortably in the room. And then but then at the point that if you're in the desert, like, you would have a good lantern by that point. But I don't want to assume. So yeah, so I moved on to the next room, which this one was a struggle. I didn't want to use the same airy flooring that I did for the first room. So I used the glass flooring over top of the desert flooring, but then, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of like dots in between each glass floor painted, and I put that pressure plate down, and then I'm going to be putting the glass over top of it and painting it black, because I didn't want to have that weird border thing over it. But yeah, the glass next to the mechanical door is reflecting desert floor, and like as if it's not painted. And I thought it was because of the glass walls down below, and when I painted them, it was still reflecting the desert floor, and it was like the glass floor that was painted didn't exist, and it was kind of seeing through it. And here I'm looking at my reflection and how it doesn't actually reflect me unless I turn around, which I think is really funny. But I wanted to display here, I wanted it to be like, sort of an area to display all the armor that you can get. So this would be like the most used armor that this person would use. And same with the weapons that I displayed on the pedestals. But I also wanted to make it so that, you could smelt your ore in here, and you could have a bunch of stuff in the chest, and you could, grab your weapons on the go. And yeah, like a little thing that I like to do is I like using the roofing gadget to over those mannequins to like kind of give them that extra light. What I used to do in before the roofing gadget existed is I would like hide glow tulips behind pillars or something to give that extra like bit of glow to accentuate something. But now that we have the roofing gadget, I can now just add that bit of quote unquote natural light, add that glow to those mannequins to give off that extra wow factor of like, hey, this is something to be looking at, to be looking at, like, look at me. And we're using the ancient hologram pot again. Wow, like it's a surprise. I actually managed to do it this time, and we got them in, and I wanted to create an area that was like the crafting area, as well as another table that would go with it. I do end up putting in the salvage and repair station with that distillery table, because I felt like the distillery table just kind of blended in with the workbench really, really well, which we'll see here in a second. So yeah, that worked out perfectly. And I created my farm area off screen just because it took so long to decide, what crops I was going to be growing, since there was no new crops when we came into the desert, which was kind of disappointing. I remember when the desert first came out and I was exploring it, I was breaking all those flowers, and there was no new crop, no new seeds or anything. honestly a bit disappointed. As someone that is constantly a gardener in the game, and I enjoy being a gardener, it just kind of felt, I don't know, disappointing. But I decided to go with the grumpkins, the bloat oats, and glow tulips because they give off natural light. So yeah, it was just easier to do that way. And here I am adding some rugs in the walkway to show off the different legendary items that we have in the game, well, slash weapons or tools. So I get the Phantom Spark, the Rune Song, and also the Soul Seeker as well, which is the pickaxe that you get in somewhere in Core Keeper, because I'm not going to spoil it just in case. But yeah, I decided to put the Soul Seeker at the beginning and then go in terms of level, level and usefulness, because Rune Song is kind of outdated by the time you get to the desert. So yeah, Lava Battle Axe is where it's at. Well, we're moving on to the bedroom. The bedroom was, like, I had an idea for it, but I was still kind of unsure. Like, I made the poster bed and everything. I had my 2 beds. I had my dresser there. I put the cartography table at the bottom because I really wanted to have, like, a planning area, but I didn't want to have it anywhere else except, like, in the bedroom. I wanted it to be like a multi-room. And I was trying out different things, like, this person's from the surface, obviously, so they've got to be hearing about Pepe, but hey, it's not Pepe, it's just a frog. That's what the devs say, that's okay. But yeah, I was trying different paintings to see, because I assumed they'd want to have something that reminds them of home, and so having those 2 paintings, the bright pink one and the cyan coloured one, would remind them the most of being at home. Also, I want to say I want a rug that's 2x2. Is it 2x2? Yeah, 2x2, that comes from one of the biomes. Like, I don't want to have to make it myself, because it is so frustrating to get these rugs and then they just don't fit with the tables that we have in the game, like the cartography table and also the actual dining table as well. Like, the rugs that you get in the game just don't fit with it, and it's super frustrating, and you'll see me getting frustrated later. But yeah, it just gets a bit sad after a while that I can't use the rug in the way that I want to use it, because it doesn't fit symmetrically. It would have to be like kind of on the side for it to be part of it, and I don't want to do that. And as you can see, I didn't do that. So I just put nothing there and instead moved on to putting it somewhere else where it did work out. I did put the 3 pedestals on it instead. But yeah, I would like something different. Hey devs, can you help a girl out? But yeah, so now we're moving on to something that took me so very long. Like, I cut out so much of the footage that went with this. I was trying to create an area that used both the rug and the throw pillows that we have, and I was referencing something that I had already created, and I'll put the reference picture up to show you of the image that I was going off, because I was trying to copy that at the same time as also trying to do my own thing that would fit with this room. But yeah, as you can see by this image, this is what I was going for. But that's not going to go with the desert because it's pink and green. So I was trying to use the green rug that you find in the ocean, but it just wasn't going with the grey, and so I had to get rid of the green, and I ended up putting in some pink instead. But yeah, it was a lot of work. A lot of pauses and everything, but we got there in the end, and I think it actually looks really good, and the throw pillows mix really well into the pattern. So yeah, but we move on to trying to find a home for the mirror, and I do my usual indecisiveness of, oh, should it go here and should it go here? No, it shouldn't go here. I actually don't mind it by the fireplace, to be honest. It makes a nice reflection, but we eventually get there, and there it is. Yeah, now it found its rightful place right next to the poster bed. So now, if you're wanting to get to that left-hand bed, you're going to have to go through the right-hand bed. You cannot walk around, unless you're in creative mode, but yeah. But I wanted to have some mannequins there to show, yeah, like this person is wearing these armors, and they're not the usual armors that you have in, like, that you would usually show off, like the ones that we have in the other room below. But I especially enjoy those three different ones, the magma, the Raka, like the scarab ones, and then also the paladin armor as well. So paladin is one of my favorite armors to use. It's got some good stuff with it, even if I don't think it has a set bonus, but it does have some really good stuff that comes with it. So I think I use it. I think I use the top and the bottom, and then use a different headpiece as well. I can't remember, but yeah. Moving on, we went into the section where the cattle is. I always like to kind of include cattle that you will find in that biome, and you will definitely find strolley-polies. Since it's infinite, I went looking for strolley-polies, and I found I think 49 or 54 or something like that, different strolley-polies throughout my search for actually looking for a car. So that was really funny. But yeah, I was searching for a car and found, let's say, 54 different strolley-polies, and yeah, you'll definitely find them. But I just wanted to make this place look a bit more natural. Like, we had this big rock structure, we had a few trees around, we had some globe bugs around, and then they have a little area for their bugs that I've got in, and then I like to put the nice little water area for them. Even though they don't drink from it, it's still nice to put that in there. And I also put a broken glyph in there because I thought it looked cool. But coming down to this area, I created this off screen because I had no idea what I was actually going to do. But I actually created like a small little shrine for the two bosses in the desert, which was Raka and Igneous. And I put some gravestones there, and I put some, I put some normal water down, and then I put some glass over top and painted it black, and then put some lava down and put glass bridges on top and painted that green, which is what makes that kind of like acidic looking effect on the lava. So yeah, I really like what I did there. But next room that we are making is the kitchen area / eating area, and that's where I got frustrated with the rug not fitting. So yeah, Debs, help a girl out. But I really like the color grey, like in terms of how grey looks in the game. I'm not a big fan of grey in real life, but the style that when you paint things grey, it just looks so, I don't know, it just fits really well with a lot of the items that you get in the desert. So yeah, and I put a water what is that, a water basin down, and also got a sponge and put it on a pedestal because I thought it was a really great area to just like have a wash up or anything like that. And I swapped that flour out for some sparkling cider or champagne or whatever it is. As in, like, who's gonna eat a flower? We've already got some jelly there. Why would we be eating a flower? But I added the throw pillows to the table as well because I thought, some people want to sit on a seat and some people want to sit on throw pillows. You never know. But I added the airy flooring here because it just felt a little bare, and so I wanted to put down it's my favorite dark flooring in the world, and it's one of the best items that have been added to the game. It's got purple flooring and it's dark, and it just fits perfectly with the desert and with the grey accents too. And I'm putting more plume trees down, potted plume trees, and then I have some actual plume trees. And I really like using those candles also from the Halloween event. They just work so perfectly with the vibe that we're going for. So yeah, and then as well as using the roofing gadget, I really like using the lit floor as well, just as an extra bit of light source. It gives a kind of purple glow, and then it mixes really well with the with the roofing gadget light as well. And I was originally going to put some walls there, but as you could see, they just did not work out and looked really tiny next to those pillars. But we end up going with 2 bits of glass walls, and they just kind of work. Yeah, I went with the pink color on them, and it just adds a bit of extra oomph to the doorway. It's not just this big open area that just kind of goes from the shrine into the kitchen. And speaking of openness, I decided to move those 2 dresses up a bit, so that it was more in the corner and out of the way, because I felt like it was a bit more cramped. So I moved them up. Obviously you wouldn't have access to the back bit of the drawer of the dresser, but they're not functional that way, so it's okay. And I did end up getting to use that rug, even if it wasn't in the way that I wanted to, but yeah, we'll take what we can get. And then I'm just adding a mannequin, and I went through the different cooking options. I do decide to go for the chef outfit. I wanted to see the different cooking pot options, but I felt like we had a bit too much of the metal vibe going in the area. Obviously the grey wasn't going to work because we've already got too much grey, and then the copper doesn't really work either. But we're coming to the end of this. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Please let me know if there's any feedback you want to give me in the comments below, but I hope you enjoyed those screenshots, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye everyone.